Taking Sides by Samaya Mohammed, Christy Al Young, and Theodore Chen.
The Battle of Britain. On July 16, 1940, Hitler ordered Hermann Göring to control the Luftwaffe air forces to secure Britain's defeat. He found Britain as a threat after conquering France. However, a plan was never made, which led to delays during the battle. Since the battle took place in Britain, they had a few advantages. One of the advantages were having more aircrafts and allied forces to aid Britain if in trouble. Secondly, radar systems told where the German forces would come in. In September of 1940, Britain's technology rose, which led the Royal Air Force to keep up with German forces. This consisted of about 600 soldiers. This battle lasted from early July to the end of October in 1940. Towards the end of August, the Germans weakened the British. Hitler became impatient and started to attack London. This led the British to recover. The Germans wanted to bomb London to destroy people's spirits like the Twin Towers, but the British continued to fight. By September 17, Hitler gave up on conquering Britain. At the end of October, the RAF, also known as the Royal Air Force, lost 832 soldiers, while the Luftwaffe lost 668 soldiers. Hitler then came up with new plans to try to invade the Soviet Union. In hopes of conquering the Soviet Union, British would give in and become Hitler's followers, which led to Operation Barbarossa.
Operation Barbarossa. Hitler's main focus was to topple the Soviet Union. German military planners for several months had been planning the invasion of Russia or the Soviet Union, and they probably wanted to make Russia or the Soviet Union Nazi Russia, because that's what you do when you conquer things, invade things. And they named the invasion of the Soviet Union Operation Barbarossa. Now, 3 million soldiers and 2,700 planes were sent, and many soldiers like the German flamethrower team. The attack was divided into 3 groups: North, Central, and South. And North was Leningrad, Central was Moscow, South was Kiev. And the image was a part of the 7-film series, Why We Fight, war propaganda series. By the end of 1941, the war was a stalemate. The Soviets were gaining power while the Germans were losing. Now the Soviets, they had many advantages. One, they evacuated their factories, allowing their production of war material to continue. And communist spies had learned that the Japanese had no intent of attacking. And Richard Sorge is one communist spy of many others that spied on the Japanese. And our good old 32nd president, frickin' D. Roosevelt.
From the after school program, please report to the office. The train from the after school program, please come to the office.
Had given us this magnificent thing. Jeeps. Wonderful Jeeps. And the Jeeps allowed the Soviets to move their shipments and supplies easier.
Changing attitudes in America. In September 1940, Franklin Roosevelt, the 32nd U.S. President, made an agreement with the British. It was called the Destroyers for Bases Agreement. The agreement sent 50 World War I era destroyers to combat the German submarine in the Atlantic. Here is a picture of the Wicks class before being transferred to the UK. The Wicks class was a group of 111 destroyers made by the United States Navy. The Lend-Lease legislation was soon created when Roosevelt was elected the third term in office. This made the United States the main source of supplies for countries that were fighting Nazi Germany. The Atlantic Charter was made in August 1941. Franklin Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill met face-to-face to talk about American and British war aims, hence the Atlantic Charter. 8 points that widely signaled a shared commitment to the ideas of self-determination, free trade, and international cooperation made up the Charter. Here's a picture of Franklin Roosevelt and Winston Churchill at the Atlantic Conference in 1941. Finn.